COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
However, current global circumstances suggest it's likely that this virus will cause a pandemic.
Officially announced that this is a global pandemic.
More than 400,000 diagnosed cases of COVID-19 across the globe.
Millions quarantined, with whole cities in lockdown.
Travelers were scrambling to catch flights home ahead of a U.S.-imposed ban on travel.
4 million coronavirus cases.
It's been terrible for the athletes. A lot of them have spoken about how difficult it is, the uncertainty, they can't train.
The 2020 Summer Olympics, now the latest major sports cancellation caused by the global COVID-19 pandemic.
Officially been postponed.
Japan has asked for the Olympic Games to be postponed.
You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you might find.
That's the director's here. Hey Siri, how long has it been since March 16th?
It was 4 months ago.
Dude, it's 4 months. On the 16th of March, I was supposed to be flying back home to South Africa for the Olympic trials. Up until that day, my flight was still happening. Like, coronavirus had just started being spoken about. It was just coming out on the news, but no one knew it was going to get as bad as it did. Up until that morning, I thought, I was still going to go home, do Olympic trials. That morning, my flight got cancelled, and I was kind of stressed out because Olympics hadn't been postponed yet, or the trials hadn't been pushed back. So I was a little stressed out because I didn't know how I was going to get back home for Olympic trials and if they were going to take me off the team because I missed the trials. By the next day, the trials had been postponed, and then we were kind of stressed, would I be able to get back in time still to qualify for Olympics? At that point, Olympics was still happening. So then I was stressed about that, and I was on the phone to my coaches in South Africa, on the phone to my coaches here in LA, trying to figure out what was going to happen. This Olympics at this point was already 4 months away. This was 3 days or 4 days after my flight got cancelled. They announced that the Olympic Games was getting postponed. It's been hard because right up until that day I was supposed to fly, I was in peak training, preparing to try qualify for the Olympic Games, for my second Olympic Games. And so I was in perfect condition, ready to race in a week or two. And I went from that peak overnight to nothing. At the time, we had no idea how long quarantine and stuff was going to be. So as hard as that was, and as much as I've taken the time to kind of process that mentally and just kind of work through the emotions and the thoughts behind that, there's so much more to life. And being healthy right now is more important for everyone. Taking the right steps for us to move through this as a society for the well-being of everyone is so much more important. It really put into perspective, how fragile everything is and how quickly everything can change. As hard as it's been and as big of an adjustment I've had to make about it, everyone's kind of had this impact. No one's really gained anything great from this. Everyone's had hardships and everyone's had to overcome something. So we're all in the same boat trying to figure this out. It's been a year of educating ourselves, learning about things. I'm back in the pool, but it's kind of half time. We're training an hour outside of where I usually train. So everything's still really disrupted and no one really knows what's happening. I think we got to just accept that it's happened, do the best we can, deal with the cards we've been dealt and try to find positives out of it. Just trying to keep a good attitude about it. Everything comes down to perspective and how you deal with what's going on around you. I'm sure it's going to be fine.
It'll work itself out. What is that?
During quarantine, obviously, I couldn't train. I wasn't working out like I usually would. So I wanted to control what I could, and something that I decided to work on more is my mental health and mental training, just being in the right mindset. Something I've been really disciplined about over the past couple of years actually is meditation. I've got ADHD, my mind's all over the place. I'm thinking of a million things at once. It just slows everything down and I feel less overwhelmed. I feel like I can manage everything. During quarantine, I actually added to that meditation practice by using CBD. I'll link this down below if you want to try it out. This is one that I've been using. This helps with calming even more, and I feel like that really maximizes the effects you're trying to get out of meditation. Having a strong mind and a good perspective during this time is what's going to get you through, and staying positive and focused kind of makes it all manageable. I'm gonna go get in the water.